Good morning, fellow YouTubers. It's right, what time is it? 5:49 AM in the morning, this Sunday morning, the 31st of August 2025 already. So this is coming to a close of the end of the year already. Obviously I've noticed a difference as well. It's dark this morning, like, so I've had to pull up outside my local post office. When you get these headlamps across the top of the shop, helps light up what I'm doing in the car. Right, so today's journey is going to take us along the A69 and then turn left at Haydon Bridge on the A686, and I'm going to go along and park at the what you call the CUPOLA Bridge. That's C-U-P-O-L-A, CUPOLA Bridge, and do a walk from there along towards PLANKY Mill's campsite, and then double back on myself. I've just thought of a place where I can walk along the river and let the dog off his leader without worrying about sheep and cattle and horses, and I came up with the idea of doing the walk from CUPOLA Bridge again, which is beautiful because you're on the River Allen. That's A-L-L-E-N, River Allen. Walk along there towards Planky Mill's campsite and see what's happening with that as well, because it got closed down after I think they did a drugs bust on his farm, and they must have found something, and I think it's been shut down because of that. But that's something else I'll find when I get along towards Planky Mill's campsite. I'll check to see if there's any campers in, if they've paid anybody to be able to camp on the land, and that way I'll find out if it's open again or just closed down altogether now. Right, so without further ado, I've got Bay in the back as usual there. Very excited to go out, and like I say, it's early hours in the morning, so it's still dark. Right, so I'll bring you back further down the line, so bye for now. I've done 42.8 miles from South Shields. It's 6:44 AM in the morning, this Sunday morning, the 31st of August 2025, and I'm on the A686 going towards my destination of CUPOLA Bridge. And you come across past this pub with an unusual name. It's called the Cart's Bug Inn, so you kind of get a more unusual name than that. But I'm just going to continue along the A686 here, and then drop down the horrible Z S-bends. You drop down towards the stone bridge at CUPOLA Bridge. I go over the bridge, then I'll turn the car around and point it back towards the bridge, and then I'm going to set up my time lapse in the windscreen as usual. Well, there's the number of your road, look, B6305. Like I say, I've just pulled up outside this Cart's Bug Inn, and I've noticed a couple of caravans in the field behind it there, so it must be like a campsite as well. Right, so without further ado, I'll just continue with my journey, going towards CUPOLA Bridge and parking up, and start my walk. So bye for now. Okay, it's 6:59 AM in the morning, this Sunday morning, the 31st of August 2025, and I've reached my location, and as usual I've turned the car around and I've just set up my time lapse start running now. And I always come over the bridge, CUPOLA Bridge here, and there's a big massive lay-by parking space on the left hand side, as you can see. So I just come over the bridge and I drive forward into this little farmer's track, which takes you down into a field, and you can obviously walk down there through the gate and then drop down to the river at the far side of the grass here. Now on the way down here, I've just come doing those nasty S-bends. It's one after another, and they come down steeply, and there's just pheasants, I mean millions of pheasants on the road, loads, and just walking casually in front of the car, so I had to wait for them to get out the road. So I was just continue with my journey coming down the embankment there. But there's loads down there, look, there's just one running away there. So there's loads in the fields, there's loads on the road, and you can hear them calling. You can tell you're in the countryside when you hear all that noise. So just to recap how I've got here, I've came up the A1 past the metro centre, turned left onto junction 75 onto the A69. I've come right along the A69 past Corbridge turn off and the Hexham new road situation, and then took a left turn onto the A686 to come along towards Alston and CUPOLA Bridge here. So I've come over the, like I say, I've just come down the embankment, you bend left and come over the bridge here, then I've just swung the car right round and pointing over the towards the bridge. So I'll be getting traffic coming down from Whitfield, the village up there, and traffic coming down the embankments where I've just come down the S-bends to get onto the bridge. Right, so I'll just give you a quick look over the walls as well to show you the River Allen. That's A-L-L-E-N. I knew he'd start whinging. He does that every time I start one away from the car. I think he thinks I'm going to be leaving him. So he goes into that like a howl, whinge, crying. He's so funny. But you can see how low the river is by all the flat stones that you can see where normally you don't see them. But there's a dipper down there. He's dipping away on the rocks just down there and having a bit of a splash in the water, having a bath, early morning bath. Right, so this is the River Allen, and I'll be following this right the way along there. Now, when you go along this little pathway leading from there's a tiny little car park just at the other side of the bridge. That's why I always park there, so I can back off the road, well off the road. And as you can see, there's no pathways over the bridge, so if you're going to walk over the bridge to film the river, just please be careful. Whinge. Right, so I'll just point my camera over the other side of the river as well. You can see more of the flat stones here, which makes like a really smooth riverbed. Like I say, normally you wouldn't see all this because it's normally covered in water. But there's a pheasant in the middle of the rocks there. So there's loads of different kinds of birds flying around. Right, so what I've got to do now is lock the car up, walk across the bridge here to this tiny little car park on the left, where that bend in the road arrow is, the black and white. Just go in there. There's another pheasant about 2,000 yards down on top of the flat rocks as well, just skipping across them. So what I'm going to do is walk across the bridge after I lock the car, go into that little car park, through the wooden bridge, and then there's a pathway walks along. You can go so far, but then it gets blocked off, so you've got to look for your little right turn, which is going to take me up the top of that bank, which is very, very, very steep. There's a grey heron just landed, so I was lucky to catch that. It's just come to landed. Right, so let me get back towards the car and lock the car up, because I've set up my time lapse. So now I've just got to lock the car and press record. I'll put him on his leader, obviously, to get him across the bridge, and then as soon as I get into that little car park just there, turn left and then go through the wooden bridge. And then as soon as I'm through the wooden bridge, I can let him off his leader, and then we've got to go up that steep bank. So I'll be wrapping his leader around my neck as usual, tucking it in, and then just start recording going up the hill, and then take a walk along towards Planky Mill campsite. But that's the farmer's field that you can go behind the car and down through the gate and onto that field. And if you want to walk across to the edge of the river and go and take some pictures underneath the bridge here, that's what I normally do anyway. But I've done it all before now, so. Right, so we've obviously had a lot of rain here, so there's puddles of water everywhere, so that means my pathway that I'm going to be going up and down steeply, it'll be full of soft mud and I'll be slipping and sliding all over. Right, so back to the car and lock it up and get him out. Right, so I'll bring you back. Bye for now.